So Oleksandr Usyk stopped Chazz Witherspoon 7 rounds. Corner pulled him out towards the end of the seventh round. Basically, Witherspoon was taking a bit of a beating in there, and he wasn't really in this fight. He wasn't competitive. Now, I hoped to have done this fight straight after the fight, but I forgot to set the alarm, so I slept right through it. So I only caught it in the morning, and I got a chance to see kind of what Usyk looks like a heavyweight. And at Chazz Witherspoon, at the end of the day, I said it in one of my preview videos that it's not really going to be an accurate gauge of Usyk a heavyweight, just purely because he's such a poor opponent. He's been, somewhat inactive, and whenever he's fought fringe kind of contenders, he's been either stopped or disqualified. Because as I said, you got guys like Tony Thompson, you got guys like Seth Mitchell and Chris Arreola, guys who are not on even the same level as Usyk, who beat this guy years ago. So you can imagine he's not going to give much resistance nowadays. So just to talk about the fight, from what I noticed early on in the fight was that Usyk had a pretty profound speed difference, which you would expect him being the kind of smaller guy coming up from cruiserweight. He's going to be faster than a lot of these heavyweights. A lot of these big guys who are, in the mid 240s, mid 250s, who are, we'll say, 6'4" and above, they're not going to be as fast as a 6'3", 215-pound man who has a very high work rate, very good stamina, and some very good legs. We saw Usyk employ a lot more movement in this fight than I've seen him in his last couple. He seemed to be doing way more kind of in and out moving. His jab was good. His jab was fast, but he wasn't throwing it as much as he did in some of his cruiserweight fights. I heard on commentary they said that when he was a cruiserweight, he would average upwards of 40 jabs per round, where he was only in the 20s with the jabs in this fight. Having said all that, the jab was still good. It was still a weapon for Usyk in this fight, and he had the better of the two jabs. Chazz Witherspoon's jab was very, very it was kind of a feather jab. He was just kind of flicking it out. He wasn't really trying to keep Usyk off him, and Usyk would get in, he would get close, and he would whip some left hands in and some body shots. He didn't really appear to buzz Chazz Witherspoon noticeably. So, at the end of the day, Usyk was never the biggest puncher at cruiserweight, but he has respectable power there. You don't want to be leaving your chin out and give Usyk a free shot. He will hurt you. So he was landing some good shots on Witherspoon. Witherspoon's stamina seemed to be pretty bad in this fight. He was gassed after, about 5 or 6 rounds. I would put that in part to the movement of Usyk, because Usyk was doing so much moving. That can actually, mentally fatigue some of these fighters, because you're seeing this guy just move in and out, move out of range, move around the ring, and he's throwing jabs at you, and you're trying to kind of work it out in your head. And I suppose for someone like a heavyweight, you're not used to seeing anyone kind of move like that when you're in a ring, because you're just thinking, like, what's this guy doing? When is he going to slow down? And he doesn't. So it was good movement by Usyk, and obviously he finished him off in the 7th round, towards the end of the 7th round. At that stage, Witherspoon was taking a few punches. He was getting a bit of a beating in there, and the corner at the end of that round just decided to pull him out. Save the fight, save him for another day, and Usyk moves on. He gets his debut win at heavyweight, albeit we would have rather seen him in there with a Takam or a Tyrone Spine. But at the end of the day, we want to see Usyk in the ring. I love watching Oleksandr Usyk, so I'm happy to see him in the ring anyway. And he is now the mandatory for the WBO. I have heard Eddie Hearn say that there's a very, very high chance that Usyk could be fighting for a vacant WBO title, because should the winner of Anthony Joshua Ruiz, whoever that may be, whether it be AJ or whether it be Ruiz, they will have an IBF mandatory of Kubrat Pulev, and they will have a WBO mandatory of Oleksandr Usyk. So they're going to have to choose one or the other. And from what Eddie Hearn was saying, should Anthony Joshua win, they're probably going to look at going the Kubrat Pulev route. So we could end up seeing Usyk fight for a vacant WBO title. And if I'm not mistaken, I think possibly Dylan White could be actually the next highest available contender. So you could possibly see Usyk versus White, in which case I think Usyk would win that fight. Straightforward enough, personally. So that's my thoughts on this. It was a good little display. It was great atmosphere in that arena. It was in Chicago. It was a great atmosphere. There was a big contingent of Ukrainian fans there. They were cheering Usyk's name from start to finish. And Usyk, at the end of the day, made his heavyweight debut. He looked good. As I said, he wasn't in there with much, so it's hard to gauge this very moment how good he could be, because, as I said, he wasn't in there with the highest level of opposition. But I'm sure he'll have another fight in between then, and I'm sure it will be against someone who is a bit more competitive and who is going to give Usyk a lot more problems. So those are my thoughts on this. Good performance. Enjoyed the fight. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think. How do you see Usyk getting on a heavyweight? Do you think him against AJ Ruiz would happen, or do you think he'll end up fighting for a vacant belt? I think Dylan White is the next highest ranked in the WBO after Usyk, so Let me know what you think down below. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like. Subscribe if you're new. And as always, I will talk to you after.